All right, we're back. So I missed 2 days of streaming. We enjoyed ourselves a little bit on Friday and Saturday, but we're back, and I'm very excited because we actually did still draft on Friday. By the way, we drafted a couple teams during the day, so we can take a look at those while we're waiting to fill. But the reason I'm excited is because since I missed 2 days, I feel like I owe it to you guys to do our first Best Ball Mania draft. So if you've been watching any of the previous videos, you know that we've been doing here. I'll show you. We've been doing these 12-person drafts where it's not a tournament. You're really just playing against the 12 people in your division. First place is $20. Second place is 9, and then third place is 3. You get your money back. So we've been doing that for practice and just to keep streaming on a regular basis, because to be honest with you, if I'm streaming these every day, if I'm doing multiple a day, I'm not really trying to spend 25, 50, 75 bucks every day. So that's why we haven't been doing them. But we're at the point where we have been waiting on the puppy draft for a long time now, it feels like, even though it's probably only been a week. We have got some practice in with these 12-person drafts, and we are ready to dive into our first Best Ball Mania. I don't know what Underdog Fantasy is doing with this. This is zero. I'm not interested in this at all. I wish they would just start a puppy draft. I don't know what the holdup is. Like, just start another one, fill as many as possible. That makes sense to me. I mean, they're making money on them. So, anyways, I'm not going to complain about it because we are getting into a Best Ball Mania draft today. I'm very excited. Let's see. Best Ball Mania, you will be entered into this draft. Let's make sure it's not a 8-hour, because I've made that mistake before. I don't want to make it with this one. And you can see the prizes for Best Ball Mania: $2 million to first, $1 million to second, $1 million to the highest scoring team going into the tournament. I mean, these have huge payouts. This tournament has huge payouts. If you want to be involved with these Best Ball Mania drafts, go to Underdog Fantasy, sign up. Your first deposit between $10 to $100 will get matched 100%. So you get some free money. If you deposit $100, you can get into 8 of these Best Ball Mania drafts, 8 chances to win $2 million. I mean, just get in there, and when you get in and put in your first deposit, use code FFX54 right here above my head. You can see it right at the bottom of the screen. Use that code. It doesn't take anything away from you, but it supports the channel and allows us to get into more of these Best Ball Mania drafts. So let's get into it. Man, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous because I've never done this before. I don't know why I'm nervous, but I do feel prepared. So we have to kill this draft. We really do. And I will say, I think we're on a pretty hot streak right now with our drafts. I think we're really finding a rhythm. So I think we're ready. Let's get right into it. And that's the other thing with these tournaments with Best Ball Mania is it fills up so much faster than those 12-person teams. Sometimes with those 12-person league drafts, it takes like, I've waited up to 20, 25 minutes to fill. And these are like almost instant. So we're hoping to get a good draft pick. I don't even know. I'm just gonna play it by ear. The nerves have to get shaken out in the first round, and we have to really lock it in here because we have a chance to win some big life-changing money. So let's wait for this last person and see where we're at. I mean, you can tell I'm really excited. This is I don't know. This is really fun. If you guys haven't signed up for Underdog Fantasy, I really do mean it. Like, just get in there and have some fun. It really is the most fun thing ever, and it's really good practice. Like the low dollar drafts are really good practice for your friend, family, office league. So when you get into those, you can win some money there. If you're not trying to spend a bunch of money, but if you're trying to spend $25 on a draft, you do have a chance for some big money. So we're at pick 9. I actually like that a lot. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I actually prefer picking towards the end. I prefer picking towards the end of the first round. So right around 9 is fine. 9 or 10 is where that's kind of my sweet spot. So we got lucky there. If we're going to look ahead and try to predict who we're getting, I'm trying not to. I don't want to switch up my strategy too much here. I do want to stick to what we know. But at the same time, the 12-person drafts, you're not going for that first place finish. You're just going, I mean, you're going for a first place finish between those 12 people, but you're not going for a first place finish between 450,000 people. So we really do have to swing for the fences here. So I think the only thing I'm going to change from the 12-person drafts to this one is I'm not going to worry about injury as much because what I think that will do is it'll give us the highest ceiling. Like, and a player specifically I'm talking about when I say that is Dalvin Cook. Like, he is a absolute stud of a talent when he's on the field. He obviously misses games pretty frequently, but we're not going to play the safe game today. We're going to swing for the fences and we're going to pretend like everything's going to work out perfectly because I think that's how you have to do it to give yourself a chance to meet that or at least give yourself, the potential to win the big prizes. And so that's our strategy here. We see typical start right now, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey's probably going to go next year. I'm assuming the people in these draft rooms know a little bit more of what they're doing, but at the same time, having a little bit of extra money doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. Austin Eckler goes at pick 4 over Christian McCaffrey. That's interesting. I would love to say that that's going to shake out to someone falling to us, but that's not necessarily the case. So we'll probably have a pretty standard option by the time that we're picking at pick 9. I'm assuming he'll go Jamar Chase or Derrick Henry, I guess, if he's trying to switch it up. Yeah, no, he goes Jamar Chase. If Derrick Henry makes it to us, I don't know if I'm picking him over Dalvin. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Stephon Diggs goes early. Derrick Henry goes. And so we're swinging for the fences. I think that Najee is a better pick in a redraft league and not a tournament situation. But when we're swinging for the fences, I think that Dalvin Cook has a lot higher ceiling. So we'll go Dalvin Cook right here and lock in that running back 1. Now, if Alexander Mattison falls to a pick that we can take a running back, then sure, I'll take him as an insurance policy. But again, we're banking on things working out perfectly. So if we, we're not going to give up a good wide receiver pick or a good quarterback pick just to take an insurance policy. We'll take him if we can and if it lines up. But if not, we're not stressed about it. Aaron Jones goes ahead of Najee. Devontae goes ahead of Najee. CeeDee Lamb goes ahead of Najee. Najee is falling. If he falls to us, we'll take him. We'll definitely take him. T. Higgins. I would love for Jay Cash to go someone other than Najee. I mean, that would be lovely. He went Travis Kelce first pick, so he is looking at running backs right now. Unless he goes bully build. And he goes DeAndre Swift. So, yeah, we'll take Najee and Dalvin Cook. Najee falls to 16. I think the Najee Dalvin Cook starts actually probably not too rare. However, being at the pick 9, it might be a little more rare. So, like this start, these two players in themselves, that combination has happened plenty. But when we circle back to these later rounds, we might get a payoff later on in the draft. So I like this start. Now, if you've seen any of my videos, you know that once I do this double running back start, we're going to punt running back for a while now. Let's do a little bit of homework and see, just to gather some information while we wait. Let's see where Alexander Mattison goes. And he's going at 124. Now, that is pretty late. Like, we might be able to grab him down there. We're at 126. So, yeah, in the 11th round, if he's there, we'll probably scoop him. Because I am going to be punting running back for quite some time here. So that would actually line up really nice and give us a security blanket. And allow us to really stack up some wide receivers in these next coming rounds. Because we'll probably go Wide receiver as a top priority. If we're not liking wide receiver or if a quarterback falls, we'll take him. Tight ends, I'll probably punt a little bit later. Might end up taking 3 depending on how the draft goes. But that's our general plan here. But I do like to be flexible depending on what the draft room gives us, because the draft room is shaking out a little weird today. You can see that people are trying to make those builds that don't normally happen. Like right here, this guy's probably really pumped. Having a Christian McCaffrey, Mark Andrews start, that's a little different. So I like his start a lot. And I expect to see the draft room continue to do this, where it's not going to be as standard and as based on ADP as a normal 12-person draft would be, because they know that in order to win that top prize pool, you're going to have to make some changes. You're going to have to make some reaches. And they can reach all day long. We'll let them reach, and we'll let the better players fall to us at a value. So I'm really excited to see what happens here in this third round. Running backs are flying off the board. Javonte going at pick 22. That is a mistake in my opinion. That's way too early, but I could be totally wrong. Pick 33 is the area we're looking at. So let's see who's in that range. I'm really not interested in Kyle Pitts at all. I'm really not. You guys let me know if I should be, but I'm really not. I'm looking to double up on wide receiver right here. Not interested in Josh Allen. I like James Conner, but not when we have a double running back start. We're not going 3 in a row. If this is our wide receivers to pick from, now I think we are going to swing for the fences. I think we might go with DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton. I know that's gross sounding, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I do think they have the highest ceiling between these players, because Marquise and Jaylen Waddle are going to be sharing targets. I do think they will be very productive in their offenses, but I don't know if they have the ceiling of DJ Moore and Cortland Sutton if everything were to work out perfectly. However, we're going to get Michael Pittman or Mike Williams. Now, I think that Mike Williams has an extremely high ceiling. We've seen him drop those 50-point games. And in this Best Ball Mania format, or in Best Ball format, that's fine. We don't need 20 points every week. We need spike weeks of 50 points, and we need to pair him with people that can carry him through the lull weeks, the in-between weeks. So taking Mike Williams is fine if you're planning on taking 4 or 5 wide receivers back-to-back, just to really make that wide receiver core stout. So that's our plan right now. We're gonna hammer wide receivers, and people are just reaching on some of these wide receivers. Brandon Cooks goes very early, 20 picks ahead ADP. I mean, I understand you're trying to make a different build, but reaching that far is, in my opinion, that's too far. So now we do have a little bit of a unique build. Mike Williams falls all the way to the Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris range. So that is a little different. We have the option of Jaylen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, or pick 40. Yeah, we're going to go Jaylen Waddle right here. I really did want to go I wanted to think about Justin Herbert there for a second, but not with this plan that we're making. We're going for that super high ceiling. I obviously would have liked to pair him with Mike Williams for the first stack. However, we need a receiver core more than we need a quarterback right now. And I do like the way things shake out when you punt quarterback later on. Not too late, but I think that punting quarterback to the 7th, 8th, 9th round is I like that method of doing these drafts, and that's something I've learned. I know some people like to make sure that they get their elite quarterback, and I will take an elite quarterback if they fall, but reaching on an elite quarterback at this stage of the draft, I'm not really a fan on, because I want to want to let things fall to me. I want to draft based on value and where we can capitalize on people's reaches. And reaching on Justin Herbert isn't going to do that for us. So I'm okay with letting him go to CK Cash for the Keenan Allen stack. That's not something I'm going to worry about because we do have a pretty solid start right now. Jaylen Waddle, we took him at 5 picks behind ADP, which is a pretty big value here in the beginning, in the first rounds. When you get later on into the draft, 10 picks after ADP is a really good value, 10, 15, 20. But in the beginning and in the start of the draft, 5 to 10 is a really good value. So we did get Jaylen Waddle at a good value. We were able to put him with Mike Williams, and we were able to pair both of them with the Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook start. So I think it's a little different. I think the ceiling on this start is very high. This isn't necessarily the start I would go within a redraft, but for this tournament and when we're shooting for the super high ceiling, I really do like this start. And we're looking for another double up on wide receiver. So I think these running backs continue to go early, and this is why we like not that early, I guess. This is why we like going double up on the running backs early, though, just to not have to worry about it. Now, Lamar made it to us, so we are thinking about taking him here. I think the ceiling is very high on Lamar. We have a small chance of getting Rashad Bateman on the turn for the stack, but even without the stack, I truly do believe Lamar is going to have a 2019-like season. So we're going to take Lamar when he falls to us in round 5, pick 9. Rashad Bateman goes right after, so we don't get the stack, but again, we knew that was a possibility, and we're okay with that. I do think it's, I just gave my spiel on why you don't need an elite quarterback, but when we get that value fall to us, we're shooting for the high ceiling. So, and I think that Lamar Jackson provides that high ceiling. Now, I would love to go Darnell Mooney right here. I've been liking trying to go Lamar and Justin Fields because you can punt Justin Fields till later, and he's a rushing quarterback. And if I can pair him with Darnell Mooney, that would be ideal. And we can. We don't know if we can get Justin Fields, but we can definitely get Darnell Mooney right here. I think he is a candidate to have a huge year. I think he doesn't have as many eyes on him because he is in Chicago and a very bad offense. I think that offense takes a step this year. I like the potential stack with Justin Fields later. And I do think Darnell Mooney is an amazing talent. And on top of that, Allen Robinson's gone. So he is the bona fide number 1 receiver in that offense. And Justin Fields will take a step this year. How big that step is, we don't know. But it will be a step. He had a decent year last year. And if you watch him on tape, Darnell Mooney is an elite talent in my eyes. So let's go back to the big board. If a tight end were to fall to us that we like Dalton Schultz, who will not fall that far, but if he did, we would take him. But we're not rushing. We're not rushing to take a tight end. We're really focused on wide receivers right now. That being said, we're always open to value, but we're focused on getting some more wide receivers. Do I like Mike Williams, Jaylen Waddle, Darnell Mooney? Yes, I love those picks. That's why I made them. Do I love them by themselves as the top 3 options? No, not really. I think that they are all they're going to be very streaky. I think they're going to have big spike weeks and very small lull weeks. So I think that we need to build a core behind them so that they can have that down week and our team won't suffer from it. And then we can benefit on the ceiling that they will provide on a more infrequent basis. So that's what we're looking for here. We're going to do some homework right here. We're going to look ahead and see where Justin Fields goes. He's at 127 now. Is that the same range as Alexander Madison? It is. So if we had to make that choice, we're going to have to decide who is more important to us. And if someone picks either one of them, then that decision will be made for us. And it'll give us a second option in that range to get someone to really secure our team and to really fit the mold of the team that we're making. I really like what JP Berg just did. He took Dalton Schultz, Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott stack on the turn. So I like that move. His running backs, obviously JT's cool. Breece Hall can work. Tyreek Hill. I think AJ Brown's a bust. I don't think he's going to be terrible. I just don't think he's going to provide a third round, a 301 pick value that like a Saquon Barkley or Nick Chubb could have provided. So, and then he could have went with like a I don't know. That's fine. Not the picks I would have made, but it's not my team. So we're gonna have pick 81 and 80. We're not interested in these quarterbacks. We're interested in doubling up on wide receivers. And a lot of people like TJ Hawkinson. I'm not one of them, to be honest with you. I think there's so many options in Detroit now. DJ Chark, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson. There's so many different options in Detroit that the ceiling isn't what I want it to be. So we're going to go with DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, he's going to be out for the first 6 weeks, but when he does come back, he will be back in time for tournament time. And like I said, we're shooting for the tournament winning first place spot. So we're assuming we can make it to the tournament in the first place. And once we make it past those first 6 weeks, then we are getting an extreme value on one of the best wide receivers in the league in a really good offense. Now, Marquise Brown is there now, so he will take a few targets away, but it's not something that I'm concerned about. Now, this is a range that I don't really love, to be honest with you. Tom Brady's falling to a value, but I'm looking for Justin Fields. I took Lamar early, so I'm not trying to take another quarterback right now. The wide receivers really aren't that exciting for me. Sky Moore, Alan Lazard, Tyler Lockett, Kadarius. I like Kadarius Toney, but I'm not really that interested in that. Let's see real quick. I have 105 and 112 next. Yeah. So right here, I think I want to go Ken Walker, actually. I think Ken Walker's a breakout candidate at the running back position, and it'll make our running back room a little more stout. So if we can get Alexander Madison just between those four, I'll be very comfortable. So it might free up some picks later on to take some shots on wide receivers or tight ends. So, and like I said, I don't love this range of wide receivers, so I'm okay passing and just planning on taking this range of wide receiver. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Robert Woods. I'm interested in all of them, so I'll try to get 2 of them on the turn. Even Christian Watson, if we have to reach on him, I think his ceiling's extremely high. So we're sticking to our plan. We're sticking to the guys we like. And though it may be a little bit of a reach on this round, it may free us up in the future rounds. Since we're staying balanced right now, it'll free us up to take the values that fall to us. The nerves are gone at this point. We're extremely locked in. I like the start. I think this team has potential. Robert Woods goes very early, so that was someone that we were going to be trying to shoot for. He's gone. But when you get sniped on a player, don't freak out. You don't want to throw the next 11 rounds away because you're choked up about not being able to figure out what pick you or who you want to take instead of Robert Woods in this case. Like, just relax, stay comfortable, and that'll allow you to make some solid picks. Chris Olave, it's another person we were going to go for, but since these players are getting reached on, we're going to get some value falling to us. So we're just going to wait and see what that is, what that value is, and who those players are, and just capitalize on it. That's the best thing to do, is have your general idea of what you want, but be flexible, be fluid. Right now, what's our pick? Our pick is 105. We might be able to get Dallas Goedert at a value. We might be able to get Kareem Hunt at a value. So we'll see what these two teams do. Renegade very well might go Dallas Goedert. He doesn't. So we'll get our first tight end. That's fine. We'll get our first tight end. Stay balanced. Stay calm. The more balanced you stay and the less you freak out, that is when, like, now that I have one quarterback and one tight end, even though that wasn't the plan, I feel free to take who I want when the pick gets back to me. Now, if Kareem Hunt falls all the way to me at 112, I don't think I'm going to involve myself in that pick. Even though it is a value, I do think we're at the point where we need to shoot for the wide receivers because of the wide receivers that we have picked already. So I may pass if he does fall. But the question is who I want at the wide receiver position. So Kareem Hunt doesn't fall, so we don't have to make that decision. My thought process is between Garrett Wilson and Christian Watson. I think they have the two highest ceilings. Tyler Boyd is a really high ceiling if something happens to T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, but if it doesn't, then he doesn't have that high of a ceiling. So I don't want to count on an injury because that is just so random. Garrett Wilson goes, so now we're hoping for Christian Watson to fall to us. And he does. So we're just gonna take Christian Watson. No real value here, but we're we don't need to take Aaron Rodgers because he's at a value. Like, that's not who our team needs. Values are great when you need the player, but right now, since I spent such a large draft capital on Lamar Jackson, I'm not looking to spend more draft capital on Aaron Rodgers. I'm okay with letting him go. Stick to our Justin Fields plan. I think that is what we're looking for on the next turn. Yeah, this next turn is the Alexander Madison, Justin Fields range. So that's what we'll be looking for over here. I think Justin Fields is probably more valuable to us if they're both available, and then just hope that we can get Alexander Madison at a value. But I think we're hoping for Justin Fields here. But we very well might not get him. Someone may take him, and that will be fine. We'll roll with the punches and continue on the path. Our wide receiver room is looking. We're recovering well from not taking one in the first two rounds with a Mike Williams, Jaylen Waddle, Darnell Mooney, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Watson, all extremely high ceilings. Gives us a very real possibility of having those extremely high score games and potentially the highest scoring season in the tournament. Again, the odds are definitely against you, but if you have the highest scoring team going into the tournament, you get $1 million. So I don't know about you, but that would change my life. So we're gonna make the moves necessary to give us that opportunity. Now, the way the offseason is looking in Green Bay, even if a Julio or a OBJ goes to Green Bay, I'm really not worried about it as far as Christian Watson goes, just because the reality is they'll probably play 6 games and be hurt the rest, and they'll produce, they'll take some targets, but their name alone might just take some. It might allow Christian Watson to free up and have less pressure on as far as defensive backs go. So I'm not really baking that into my decision at all. Sammy Watkins is not a concern of mine. Allen Lazard, we know what he is. Not a concern of mine. Christian Watson has the highest possibility of being that number one go-to target for Aaron Rodgers, and that's what we're looking for. He's a big body, which means he's a red zone target. There's a lot of things going for Christian Watson that I like, and when we're talking about that extremely high ceiling, that's what we're looking for. So, as I said before, we are hoping that Justin Fields falls to us. Alexander Madison is looking like he has the potential to fall to us. Two. Yeah, see, he doesn't have any quarterback, so I don't think we can pass on Justin Fields. Although letting Alexander Madison go, if we have that choice, is really hard. That one hurt. That one hurt. I don't like having to make that decision, and Alexander Madison won't make it back to us. I mean, we can hope and pray, but it's not going to happen. We are at pick 153 and 160 next. Cole Kmet falling to us would give us a double stack with Justin Fields, but again, that's not something we can count on. That would be a long way to fall. They're just teasing me with Alexander Madison right now, pretending like he's going to fall to me. But we know he's going to get taken here. Marled might have to take Tua. He's really punting quarterback here. He takes Michael Carter. Cole Kmet goes, so we're not getting him on the turn. J Cash, just pass on Alexander Madison. He does. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the ideal situation that could have happened on that turn. Ideal. We get Alexander Madison at a 12 pick value. He gives us insurance on Dalvin Cook, who's our running back one, because if he goes down, Alexander Madison has proven that he will step up into that role seamlessly. And we get Justin Fields to pair with Lamar Jackson. This team is looking really good. At this point, all we care about is wide receiver and tight end. Mostly just wide receiver. I can get 2 tight ends at the last 2 picks and be fine. I am mostly focused just on wide receiver at this point. We'll probably take another running back at some point, but that is not the top priority. Between Dalvin Cook, Najee, and Ken Walker, the draft capital that we put into them, we're banking on them working out. We're banking on Ken Walker breaking out. We're banking on Dalvin Cook staying healthy, but if he doesn't, we're secured. Najee Harris is a machine. I'm not worried about his injuries. So we're feeling pretty good right about now. Now, if a tight end does fall to us, like a really good value, then sure, we'll look into it. But that's the only case that we're taking a tight end in these next 3 rounds, is if we get a really good value. Because if not, we are just looking to lock in that wide receiver room. That's our number one priority, and we can shore up the running backs and tight ends in these last 3 rounds if we have to. And the running backs you get at this point are, they're, I don't know. I can't get excited about really any of them. Let's see if there's any that are a little exciting. Tyrion Davis-Price can be exciting. You can talk yourself into him. Darrell Williams will be really good if James Conner went down, but I don't want to bank on an injury. Tyler Algier, I just can't get behind. He's like a 4th-round pick or something, so I'm not really banking on him having some crazy season. James Robinson, you could talk yourself into, but you would have to be pretty good at convincing to talk yourself into that pick. Raheem Mostert, he might give you some big weeks. Marlon Mack has been a pick that I go with in the running back position, but I feel good about our running backs, and I'm not really rushing to take someone like those people we just listed. I think the 4 running backs that we have right now are more than capable of maintaining that ceiling that we're looking for and freeing us up to go with some wide receivers here. So 153 is our pick. No real values falling here. KJ Osborne doesn't really excite me, and he's gone anyways. Alec Pierce goes. So we're going to have to reach. I don't want quarterbacks, running backs, or David Njoku. Do I get David Njoku? What are the other? We're going to go George Pickens right here. Our next pick is 160. Not really super excited about any of these wide receivers coming up in the next few rounds, so maybe we go with the tight end here soon. David Njoku is on my mind just because of the contract that he got, and it may... Yeah, we might go David Njoku because Marvin Jones is who we were excited about. The only one that we were really excited about. And taking David Njoku will allow us to only take 2 tight ends if we have to. And based off of the money that he just got paid, regardless of the quarterback position, they're going to scheme up plays for him. So if he doesn't go right here, which he doesn't, we're going to go with David Njoku. And this is what I'm talking about, saying flexible. I mean, you can hear it in the tone of my voice. I'm not super excited about this, honestly, this turn that we just had. But you don't freak out and veer off of our plan. Like the way that the way that this area looks, it's like you could easily talk yourself into grabbing a third quarterback or another running back, but we know, we just talked about it the whole draft. We know that that's not what our team needs right now. And taking those players in this round just because they have the ADP that makes sense to draft. If we take them now, that's not gonna add any insurance to an area that we need insurance, and we'll feel more pressed to take players later that we wouldn't normally. And that's usually, it's almost like a stacking effect. Like once you make one little mistake, you're paying for it the entire rest of the draft. So we're going to stick to our plan. We've been talking about our plan this whole time. So let's not veer off just because the range isn't shaking out how we wanted it to. Some players I could be talked into if they fall is Tyrion Davis Price. He won't fall to us, but if he does, we might have to take him, especially because the wide receivers are they're falling so far right now. Because our pick is what, 177? So that's like this range, which is wide receiver list, basically. So we could be talked into Tyrion Davis Price. The draft board is getting really ugly as we get down here. We're 7 picks away. 5 running backs, 2. Okay. He has 6 running backs. Jesus. Wow. His wide receiver room is looking... I guess it's looking fine. Tight ends are fine. Not the way I would build a team, but again, not my team. I hate how it switches like that. I wish I could just watch it. Or like stay, like when I click on this, I wish it would just stay. Oh my God. His running backs are horrible. Wow, how many wide receivers do you have? 10? Brother. I mean, I like wide receiver and all that, but Jesus. 10 wide receivers? What does that look like on the big board? Is it this guy? No, I don't think it's that guy. Which guy was it? Oh, it was this guy. He went 6 in a row after starting with 4 in the first 6 rounds. Oof. He has a Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler stack with Justin Herbert. Clyde Edwards-Helaire might as well just be a blank spot on your roster. He is not going to provide any value, in my opinion. Noah Fant sort of fell to us, but we're not interested. This is kind of odd, but we're going to go. I'm not interested in Wan'Dale Robinson a whole lot, to be honest with you. I guess I could have went like a Jamal Williams, but I think Hayden Hurst has some really good potential. Will Fuller goes. That is who I was gonna try and take. Maybe I should have went Will Fuller first. $184 is our pick. We have 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. Wan'Dale Robinson goes. What's our next pick? 201 and 208. Do we want to go John Mechie or do we want to go Jamal Williams? I think based on our team construction, we want to go John Mechie to give ourselves that potential for a higher ceiling, hoping that Marlon Mack makes it back to us. Jamal Williams is someone that I've been drafting a lot of just because if DeAndre Swift goes down, he's going to be an elite running back. And even if he doesn't, then he's still going to have some value. However, me taking John Mechie really shows you my confidence in our running back core right now. We're really banking on these players because if anything happens to these 3 top players' productivity, other than Dalvin Cook because we have Alexander Madison, but if something happens to these options that we have, we're really dead in the water anyways. We don't want to be banking on Jamal Williams in the first place. And I think that John Mechie has he's a rookie that was drafted in the 2nd round. I think he has more potential to provide a starting position value at a later round. Let's just double check to make sure. John Mechie draft. I'm pretty sure he was a 2nd round pick. And he's going to be a second option for most likely. Yeah, he was almost a 1st round pick, sort of, kind of. He's from Alabama. I mean, Brandon Cooks is basically the only other receiving option there. So John Mechie was definitely the right pick right there. I almost veered from our plan, which I've been saying the whole time, don't veer from your plan. I almost did it, but we didn't. That's what you gain from experience. You start to, like, after so many times of making that mistake, like going with Jamal Williams in that circumstance, and you pay for it the rest of the draft. When you do that 30, 40, 50 times, even if you have an extremely stubborn personality, you eventually pick up on the fact that, okay, we need to start sticking to who we want. We can't keep reaching on these players and paying for it later. So I think this was the right pick. I was trying to look for his 40 time. I'm trying to figure out if he's a good backup with the potential to develop into a starter. I was trying to find his 40 time to see if he was kind of like a deep ball threat or if he's more of like a possession receiver, but I can't really tell. Experience running a pro caliber route tree, attacks press leverage, defeats it, snaps off route, breaks. Good downfield focus and ball tracking. Yards after catch. Suffered ACL tear in December. Oof. So he might come back to the season late. I think it's like a 9-week process, so maybe not. He might be fine. He's young, so he might recover pretty quick. Okay. So we have our 3 potential rookie breakouts, and then kind of our solid veteran-ish tree. Very solid tight end core. Very solid running back core. I mean, this team is just looking really good, I will say. I think we're really locking it down. We still have some picks to go, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. I have an idea of the last running back we're going to go with right here, and that's going to be Jerick McKinnon. There's a very real possibility that he ends up as I'm not going to say running back 1 because they're going to use a committee, but in the playoffs, he was getting more touches than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he just got re-signed, so they obviously wanted him back, and I think he's a good candidate to have because when you have this core, and this is the core that we're banking on as these the top 3 running backs in our running back room, we're looking for some shots that may be able to break out due to their situation. Deontay Foreman is kind of like that, but that's banking on a Christian McCaffrey injury, which is possible, but that's not a bet I'm gonna make in this situation. So now we're looking ahead for a wide receiver to round out our room, and wow, these wide receivers suck. I think we'll go with the Byron Pringle double stack with Justin Fields. This allows us to have the I think it's a 1-2 option. Let's double check. Bears wide receiver. What is it? Depth chart. Let's see who the wide receiver 1 through 4 is. Yeah, so it looks like Byron Pringle is the other wide receiving option in Bears in Chicago. So I think again, we continue to kill this draft. I think that was the right decision given the team that we have, because if Darnell Mooney has a down game, that's assuming Byron Pringle had an up game, and we have Justin Fields. So that gives us the double stack and the potential for a consistent high ceiling and a little bit of insurance on one of our top 3 wide receivers. So I will say that for our first Best Ball Mania draft, I think we did really good. I think we have a team that we can be very confident in giving us a real shot at $2 million. $2 million. Hayden Hurst, I think that was a really good pick. That was taking the person that we believed in instead of taking the person that had the greatest value. Because Hayden Hurst can provide. He can be a breakout tight end this year. I'm a Ravens fan. I've said that before. And the Ravens drafted him. Ravens draft great tight ends, so that's number 1 going for him. He was a really good tight end in Baltimore, but we had Mark Andrews, so we didn't want to pay him. He goes to, where'd he go? I forget where he went, but he's an extremely athletic tight end. He's a receiving tight end, and now he's on one of, if not the most productive offenses in the entire league. So it's very possible that he has some huge weeks. We saw last year CJ Uzomah have some huge weeks. And then, he's our third option. So this tight end core, we let it fall to us. We didn't get too aggressive and feel rushed on anything, but we took the values that fell to us and the players that we believed in. Same goes for the Lamar Jackson pick. That was someone that we believed in and we weren't planning on taking, but we took the team that we liked and freed us up for a really good, a really balanced team to allow us to grab some players that we like later on. So last recap of this draft, this first Best Ball Mania, I'll say it now before I start. If you want to get involved in these drafts, you can see right over here, I have 1 entry. This was our first entry in Best Ball Mania, chance of $2 million. We have 24 entries in the puppy draft, the first puppy draft, and that has a chance at $75,000. And then we have, I'm not going to count, but you see it. We have this many 12-person drafts as well. So we're fairly involved. We have some chances to win some money, but if you want to sign up and have some fun, get some practice in, go to underdogfantasy.com. Your first deposit will be matched 100%, anywhere from $10 to $100 deposit. And you can get some free money when you sign up. Use code FFX54. You see it here. You see it above my head. You see it at the bottom of the screen. That is my code. It'll give me a little bit of draft compensation to get involved in more of these drafts. Takes nothing away from you. So support the channel. But before I round this out, our quarterback situation, 2 rushing quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, who I'm very high on this year. I think he can have an MVP-like season. He's our quarterback 1. Justin Fields is basically a watered-down version of Lamar Jackson. He will provide us some spike weeks. Our running back room is Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris at the 1-2 punch, our first 2 picks. If Dalvin Cook can stay healthy, he can be the number 1 running back on the season if he stays healthy. Najee Harris, I think, is more of a solid option that you can count on. He won't provide as high of a ceiling as Dalvin Cook will, but you can pretty much count on him for 15 to 25 points every single week. Ken Walker is a potential breakout. He was a top, I think he was, let's see, Ken Walker draft. He went, basically the first round. I mean, I round down a little bit, but he was the second running back off the board, if I'm not mistaken, behind Breece Hall. So he has breakout potential. Seattle is very good at drafting running backs. So we like that pick. Alexander Madison is a little bit of insurance, and then Jerick McKinnon is a potential spike week candidate. Not going to provide you a week-to-week score, but he's definitely a spike week candidate. And then when you go to the wide receivers, Mike Williams, Jaylen Waddle, Darnell Mooney, all spike week candidates. Jaylen Waddle's more of that safer 15 to 20 point range guy, whereas Mike Williams, Darnell Mooney are more of that big spike week, very small lull week type people. DeAndre Hopkins is out for the first 6 weeks, but once he comes back, that's an elite option, possibly a wide receiver 1 option that we capitalize on his value at this time in the season, or this time in the off season, I should say. We went 3 rookie wide receivers to allow us that potential for a breakout candidate, much like a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase rookie year, that we could capitalize if even just one of them broke out. Pittsburgh drafts really good wide receivers on a yearly basis. Christian Watson is walking into a potential Aaron Rodgers number 1 option situation. John Mechie is a high-round draft pick from Alabama. That's about all I know. I do think that Davis Mills is better than advertised, but he's probably on the lower likelihood of being the breakout candidate, but he does have that possibility. And then Byron Pringle is a little bit of insurance for Darnell Mooney. He did find in Kansas City. He's a deep ball threat, so he might get some spike weeks regardless of Darnell Mooney. And I think he really rounded out the wide receiver room nicely. And then our tight end room is really solid. Dallas Goedert, pick 105, got him at a value. David Njoku and Hayden Hurst. So this team I'm very happy with. I think we did really well. I really appreciate you guys coming to tune in, because you very well could have just seen how I won $2 million right in front of your face. But until then, I think we might get into another 12-team draft or 12-person draft later today. So we're going to go for 2 videos today. So if you're looking to hop into the stream again, look for that. Turn on the notifications below, subscribe to the channel, all that. Drop a like. But until then, I appreciate all of you, and peace out.